Today we're going to continue looking at surface area. So as a reminder, surface area is the area of each of the surfaces, the outside parts of a three-dimensional shape. So we looked at prisms prior to this, and we looked at how we got that formula. We're going to do the same thing for our pyramids today. So a pyramid is a shape that has a base on the bottom, and then the sides come to a point at the top called the vertex. And so the difference between our prism, remember our prism in the last video had a top and bottom shape that were identical to each other. A pyramid has one base, and then directly across from it is the vertex where it comes to a point. That makes all of the sides, the lateral area, a different shape than we saw in our prisms. They will all be triangles. So what we're going to do is we're going to envision actually unfolding this pyramid here. So imagine that we were going to cut down these sides and kind of unpeel the lateral area that we see there, and we would end up with our net, and our net would look like what we're seeing over here, which is our base shape in the center, and then the lateral area would be those triangles on the side. So we're going to see our formula written two different ways. The first way here, we can see very similar to in our prism. We are going to find the area of that base shape. So the area in this case of the square there. And then we're going to find the lateral area. That's what the capital L stands for, is lateral area. So the lateral area would be each of these triangles added together. Now, when our base is a regular polygon, meaning all the sides are the same, like a square, like a regular pentagon, like an equilateral triangle, then all we have to do is find the same idea as we saw in our prisms, is that we are going to look at this perimeter of that base shape, which is right here. And so that's what the P stands for. That stands for perimeter. Now, this L part, for those of us that are having a hard time seeing this formula, it's surface area equals the area of the base. So that's that square plus 1/2. We'll talk about the 1/2 in the middle in a minute. Perimeter. So again, that would be the perimeter around our base. And then we see this cursive L, and that cursive L stands for slant height. And so what is slant height? Well, if we go back and we actually look at our last image that we had up there before I switched ahead, and we go back here, we'll notice that on the side of the lateral area, this little triangle here, we have that red line going down, and that's labeled slant height. And the reason it's labeled slant height is because it's actually measured at a slant down the side, making the right angle. That would be compared to what we would call the height of the pyramid. The height of the pyramid would be if you imagine taking a toothpick and sticking the toothpick from the vertex straight into when it would fall in the middle of the shape inside the pyramid. So that would be the actual height of the pyramid. When we're doing surface area, we don't want the height of the pyramid. We want the slant height. So that tends to be something that sometimes is a little confusing for people. So going back over here to our formula, we have surface area equals the base plus 1/2 perimeter times slant height. Now, perimeter we talked about was because we were going around the shape, right? Slant height is the height. Now, if we think about this, This is the formula for a rectangle. But this time our lateral area is not rectangular, it's triangular. So that's where the 1/2 comes from, because those lateral surfaces are not rectangles, but they're triangles. So let's go ahead and do an example together. Okay, here we go. So for the pyramids we're going to do, all of them are regular. So it's important to know that that formula is for a regular, meaning the base is a regular shape. All the sides are the same. If it wasn't regular, it would be a little bit more complicated of a process. So we always start with our formula. Surface area equals area of the base plus 1/2 perimeter of the base times slant height. Now I did write a little note here to draw the net. For some of you who are more visual, drawing this out just in what it would be if we unpeeled or unwrapped the shape sometimes is helpful, because then you can see where we're getting that area of the base right here. You can see that we're looking at the the triangles that are our lateral area. And if we put all those together, we'd get this formula, but then we have the 1/2. So that's why, because they're triangular, not rectangular. So taking a look here, our area of our base is 2.4 times 2.4 plus 1/2 our perimeter. And again, at this point, it's okay to use your calculator to add these all up. So 2.4 times 4, because we have 4 of them, would be 9.6. And then our slant height is this number here, times 3. So then I'm just going to go ahead and use my calculator to multiply this out. 2.4 times 2.4, and I get 5.76 plus, then I'm going to multiply the rest of my formula. 1/2 times 9.6 times 3, and I get 14.4. And so then finally I would want to add those two together, and I get 20.16 square feet.